I'm Corbett Wall with DV Auction, here with your feeder flash for Thursday, June the 18th, brought to you in part by the nationalbeefwire.com. Go to nationalbeefwire.com, check out that website. There's a jillion channels on there. It's got information on all kinds of different products. It's got real-time feeder cattle market quotes there. It's got this report every day, but just tons and tons of market information and up-to-date news on there. It's your best news source to find everything about cattle and beef. Defying gravity, continuing, and I think it's great as long as we can continue to hold this. I just don't know what is holding it. We're on shaky ground, but the futures were up marginally again on Wednesday. Your feeder cattle auctions were strong once again. They're starting to wane off a little bit. We're going to see some of our smallest receipts between now and the middle of July there. There'll be a lot of sales closed for 4th of July. Some of your sales are closed for harvest break, especially up in Kansas there. But just not a lot of cattle moving right now. We'll start to see your big video auctions running here between now and when your brick and mortar sales really get strong again. But you know, I say you didn't have big runs. El Reno, Oklahoma, OKC West had 10,600 head for their 2-day sale. But just not a big news day, so I'm going to get right to it and get this over with. I'm not going to take 20 minutes of your time today, but if you do get a chance to check out the Iowa Cattlemen's Association's YouTube channel, I'm not sure if it's going to be on their Facebook channel, but had an interesting webinar on Wednesday night with Iowa Cattlemen's Association on a panel all about how to change the direct trade up on your fed cattle to try to help things, you know, kind of contrast and comparison the bid the grid and the 50-14, but it was very interesting, and if you guys are interested in more information on that, check that out on some different sources through Iowa Cattlemen's Association. Check out the board on Wednesday. June live cattle futures up 17 cents at 96.5, and you think, well, at 96.5, and you know, our fat cattle are trading $1 to $1.02, and we're well deep into June. And we've narrowed that basis down a ton, but how come it doesn't come any closer to what cash is bringing? Well, if you were a long speculator and you were thinking that you should buy the spot live cattle futures market there and hope that it sucks up to that buck two, you know, you're not going to do that, because you might buy that and then look up here in a few days and you're the only long left. And then you get delivered upon, and you can't get any because these guys can't get their cattle scheduled yet when they need to, and the fear of delivery is scaring off our long speculators, and I'm not sure if that's the best way to do it anymore. I think we'd be better off if we could, if we could find a market, if we could find an index like we have on our feeder cattle and do a cash settlement. Your speculators, they really accept that a lot better. They know what it's all about. They're more comfortable with that, if you will. But we got to do something to keep our long speculators in and give them some kind of confidence about playing in live cattle futures again, because everybody's pushing on the downside. August live cattle futures up 7 cents at 96.85. They're back ahead of the spot June, which, like I've said here for several sessions, does not make any sense. You go on out from there, and your live cattle contracts are unchanged, up 30 cents. August feeder cattle up 70 cents at 133.57, and that's about $5 to a premium to what our cash sales of feeder cattle are right now. But that's the closest traded month there. September was up 50 cents at 134.95. You go on out from there, they were down 32 cents on their farthest out traded months to up 27 cents, but not a lot of activity there in your futures market compared to most days when it's very volatile. But fat cattle trade, through Tuesday, we had sold 30,500 head in your 5-area feeding region, and had another big day on Wednesday. So continuing to see pretty aggressive negotiated cash sales as we've seen, the cattle that are coming back through the formulas are actually still costing them significantly more, and I say them, I mean the packers. So they're going to continue to buy cash cattle and in a negotiated basis, because they're not really having a haggle on them. If they'll just promise them to get them scheduled in, the guys basically roll over at whatever they want to give them. Iowa, 6,300 head confirmed on Wednesday at 102 and 158 to 162 dress basis. Nebraska, look at this, 13,900 head in Nebraska just on Wednesday confirmed. Live sales from $1 to $1.02, that's your market, and 157 to 162 dress basis. Kansas, 6,700 head. Texas, 4,800 head, all from $1 to $1.02. Yeah, guys still seem very excited about the market. This will be the last of the dollar trades. We're going to delve below $1 here, and when we cross that threshold, that's going to be a big bearish signal, guys. And I tell you guys, if you've got summer yearlings to sell, be thinking about getting those things moved. These markets are inflated right now. It may not be what you want, but cattle have been selling very well for the situation we're in right now, with cattle being backed up. We got a lot of cattle to move through here in the heat of the summer, and it looks like it's going to be a long, hot one. Box beef cutout values down hard. They had kind of started to level out a little bit, and we thought maybe they were getting close to stopping, but another big movement, albeit at sharply lower prices. Choice cuts, $217.93, down $9.96. Selects, $208.08, down $5.09. 200 loads of cuts, grinds, and trimmings. I don't remember the last time we had a single day movement that large, but these guys are filling the pipeline. They are packing it full of beef right now. You know, I don't know if they're worried about another wave of the coronavirus or what they're doing, but man, you would think they would just about have that full, but they're continuing to buy it, and they're buying it all on the current delivery method right here. So we're being able to see all of it, but right now it's tanking. Of course, we knew it was. The party's over for your packers. They enjoyed those gouging prices for a couple of months there, and they really had a good time. Well, now they're under big time investigation for that, and their cutout values are plunging. Slaughter squarely back to normal, but still we can't quite obtain those lofty levels that we had the same weeks a year ago. Your slaughter, 358,000 through Wednesday there, 8,000 more than last week, 6,000 less than the same week a year ago. So we are not catching up as of yet, guys, on the big backlog of heavy fat cattle that we have. Let's talk about your feeder cattle market. Your real-time index on DV auction late on Wednesday sit at 128.50. That's the average price, your real-time index price on an 800-pound steer up through the midsection of your United States there, 128.50. We see some stick-out sales of some flat 800-pound steers at 130 and a little bit more, but at 128.50 is not bad, guys. But a lot of cattle are priced at 130 turned out on grass, your green grass yearlings there, and that's kind of the mark there. I mean, if you sell them higher than $130, you've done a hell of a job. If they come cheaper than 130, based on about 850 pounds, that's where they slide a lot of those big summer grass yearling steers. If it's under 130, then you kind of wish you'd have done a little bit better. But look at the big sale in El Reno, Oklahoma at OKC West Stockyards, 10,600 head. You compare that to the same week a year ago, 1,700 head. We've just about completely caught up on our feeder cattle marketings. We're way behind on fat cattle marketings, but feeder cattle marketings have been very aggressive, and we will be looking forward to a cattle on feed report here on Friday, so you guys can start guessing about that. But still, as many cattle as we have on feed, most of your analysts are expecting just under 100% of the same time a year ago, and then on our next visit we'll look closer at those expectations of the cattle on feed report. But feeders, $2 to $5 higher for your Wednesday sale. That's very impressive. $2 to $5 higher. Calves, Lighter test of calves on Tuesday there. Your undertone was about the only test, and it was a light test, but a lower undertone on there. Let's look at that market report, your automated market report through DV Auction on Cattle Market Central here. This is for the Wednesday sale in El Reno, your yearling feeder sale there. And let's look at your best tested weights. Anything lighter than 700 pounds, they were just misclassed because those cattle should have sold on Tuesday. But 834 head of 7-weight steers averaged 755 at 130.54. That was a couple bucks higher on the weighted average price than the previous week. 2,070 head. Now there's you an auction, guys. El Reno, Oklahoma, over 2,000 head of 8-weight steers. You know, 2,000 head's a hell of a run for anybody altogether, cows included. They had 2,070 head of 8-weight steers. They averaged 866, 123.19. That was just a quarter higher on your weighted average price compared to a week ago. But if you look at that weighted average weight, it was well up in the 8s at 866 pounds. So that kind of explains that. 1,400 head of 9-weight steers averaged 936 at 118.93. That was up over $6 on the weighted average price. Look at your heifers. The best tested weight there was 7-weight heifers. 1,628 head of 7-weight heifers averaged 736 at 118.62, and that was $1 to $2 higher. Your biggest stick out sale, not really because of the price, because of the size of the lot out of El Reno, 264 head of 898 pound steers in El Reno, bring $122. Got a few stick out deals, individual quotes from all over the land. How about Pays Public Auction Yards in Billings, Montana? 56 head, 753 pound steers bring $139.75 way up there in the northern plains. How about Green City Livestock Marketing, Green City, Missouri? That's a premium type market there, and they'll be having a big special here coming up closer to 4th of July. But 80 head, 589 pound steers bring $159 in Green City, America. And the top quote that I saw anytime on Wednesday was Albion Livestock, Albion, Nebraska there. 68 head, 849 pound steers bring $133.80. And that's your feeder flash for Thursday.